Remember, knowledge, it ain't free. You gotta pay attention and don't believe the hype.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby.
For some, they say it's the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. For us, it's about potential financial opportunities. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, and make no mistake, big money is up for grabs and this is a fight. Never settle for second best. The Past the Wire annual Kentucky Derby seminar. Nobody does it better. Preparation is key. Be better prepared, delve deeper, stealth. They won't see us coming and they won't know we're there. Money management, ticket structure, pace, all the intangibles, thoroughgraph, everything that matters to make it count, to have that edge. In the end, if things go as planned, it'll be like we stole the money.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
There's a lot of ways to handicap a horse race and a lot of ways to bet on it. But nobody that I know does it like Gio Setti and his full card, precise order handicap. Every horse in the race gets a predicted order of finish like only Gio can do, way beyond a deep dive, available exclusively on select days at Past the Wire. Himself, Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie, tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, presented by Am Wager.
Okay, so here at Past the Wire, we have the great pleasure of having Dylan Davis and his sister Katie Davis McCarthy on this call with us today. And guys, welcome. I'm so happy to have both of you on at the same time.
Yeah,
Hi, thanks for having me, Ed.
thanks for having us.
So let me just kind of get to the point of a quick question. Have the two of you ever gone down to the wire in a race? And if you have, what was the conversation on the gallop out?
Oh man, plenty of times.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple of good ones.
I think you've actually beat me more than I beat you on duels.
There was one you were on a Chad Brown and you came back on. Wasn't that you?
Yeah, it was me. Yep.
Yeah. And I learned really quick with a Chad Brown horse. Once you pass them,
On the
you don't
turf.
engage them.
On the turf. Yeah.
Yeah. Because once you engage them again, they come back on. And it's like, I had him. But then I got close to him and here he came back on. I was like, no. But there was
So
one.
what happens on the gallop out? What's the conversation like?
She was mad. She was mad.
Yeah, I did. I cursed. I was like, fuck. No.
Yeah.
And he, it happened.
What am I supposed to say? I'm trying to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, one of the cool things about you two is, both of your careers are on such the upswing. some big wins on both your all's part. Katie, let's start with you. Let's talk about, I know you got a stakes race coming up this weekend, but you got a couple of special fillies that you've been riding lately. Talk about them and talk about how what it's been like to be in the winner's circle as often as you have at Aqueduct over the last few months.
Yeah, so my last 2 years that I've been riding since I came back after having Riley has been good, But this year I kind of kicked off this year with getting a new agent, starting fresh, wanting to hit the grounds running, and I don't want to have the same year that I've been having, because if that's the case, then I might as well just have another child at that point in my mind, and I really wanted to prove myself this winter, because last year I only won 4 races. So I passed that already, a couple goals of mine. And I got a couple two good, really nice fillies that I got an opportunity on that I've been riding. And I got back from, I had days in Saratoga with Sunday Girls. So I lost her in Saratoga with Flavian Pratt, and then I ended up getting her back. So, I'm very lucky to be able to get her back, and she's running on, I believe, Sunday. Is it Sunday?
How fitting.
Yeah, I think
Sunday girl on Sunday.
Sunday Girl. Yeah, so she's running, and then I also have this other filly for Dominic Schettino, Bernie in the Rose, and I've won 3 on a row with her. Her last win was a stake, and she really proved herself in that stake. There was a lot of speed. She broke on top, and Kendrick ended up going outside and then darting to the front, made me sit the pocket, which I was okay about, because he had crazy speed, and that really tested her. She got dirt in the face. She sat in the pocket. She tipped out, and she came home running. So she's going back in a stake on the 8th, going a mile. So that's exciting. And sometimes I like to have an opportunity to gallop them. Most jockeys higher up in New York are kind of like, yeah, no. But me and Dom have a really good connection. And, I saw her kind of clip around there a couple of times in the morning, and I was like, no, 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 like, I want to win a stake, like, let me get on her. And he's like, Katie, yeah, I was gonna call you, but I know how some jockeys are. I said, no, let me get on her like 2 weeks out, and I want to do the job right, because I want you to win. I want a fair shot in this game. So whatever I can to get to the top and have some nice horses, I'm there. I'm ready to run with it. So
Well, listen, before we jump over to Dylan, I mean, who had a fantastic meet at Saratoga this summer.
thank you.
You had a few wins yourself. I mean, what's it like having a win at Saratoga against that colony? I mean, it's got to be an awesome feeling.
I was just talking to somebody the other day about just the experience alone. I've ridden it the last 2 years, and I still go out and I look at the grandstand, just looking at the people, and I still soak it in, because it's an incredible feeling to even ride the racetrack, yet alone win is like unbelievable. So the first year I went, I told my agent, I said, if I just win one, I'll be the happiest person alive, because it is like so hard to win there. And I think I won 8 that year, or 7 or something. 6.
Good.
Yeah. So, I lost 2 winners last year because of my suspension, but you kind of have to come in this year and hoping things kind of take off. That's why, I was really determined this winter to make more connections, because Saratoga is not a track where you make connection. It's a track where you keep your business and get lucky at the draw if somebody takes off. So
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, it was pretty cool, because I talked to Dylan about this in the winter circle up in Tampa when he won the Suncoast. Right as he walked into the winter circle, you were crossing the wire, winning up at Aqueduct at the same time. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but I know Dylan was super excited to hear that you had won as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's same.
Nice.
I had a good amount of people text me, "Oh, your brother won, and then you won back to back." It's cool, the support from a lot of people on the track. They love our story, and they love watching us grow as riders, and it just makes it more personable. and it gets more people to root for us because we're very, just real,
You guys are real. You guys are great with the fans. Dylan, let's talk about. I mean, you tied for third in victories this past summer at Saratoga. Awesome accomplishment, and
Mhm.
I mean, you haven't stopped since then. Before we get into some of the special horses you got coming up, let's talk about your Saratoga meet, the experience you enjoyed there, and some of your special memories.
Yeah, it was a really great time that I had this past summer. I really thought that everything come together at the right time. Really put a lot of hard work into the NIVER circuit, and everything was working well. I had the right opportunities and the right horses, and everything. When I was riding, I felt like I could do no wrong. Every decision I was making was the right decision. And then at the same time, I had horse to work with. The trainers were doing their part, so it was a great time to shine, really. And it took a long time to get to that point, to what everyone saw that last Saratoga. And I just wanted to keep the ball rolling and continue on through the fall. And I had a big opportunity to come to Gulfstream, and I took a big leap, and it's going well.
That's great. Well, let's talk about what's upcoming. I mean, let's go ahead and start with Gate to Wire.
Yeah.
Special horse you got. I believe you're running in the Fountain of Youth and that's for Donegal and Pletcher. Let's talk about that horse and your expectations and what you feel about it.
Yeah, so my first time on him, he won the Swale Stakes, and that distance was 7 furlongs. There was a lot of speed in that race, and they ended up going 21:43. And it was his first time on the dirt, so I was able to keep him clear, but behind the leaders, and switch him off. And he was in a nice position there, laying fourth in between horses. And I was able to switch him out to the outside and call upon him, and he responded very well. And I was very happy with that. He went on and even cleared the front runners there, and we had a great setup. So going into this race is the first time. It's first time for him for 2 turns. So he's really testing the waters there. He is going from the 1 hole, so that could be very difficult. But I know that he has good natural speed. If he shows what he did in the Swale Stakes, he should be forwardly placed, no problem. And he's very easy to work with. He's nice, big built horse, and hoping for a good run from him.
Well, he obviously won the Swale first time on dirt, but as a jockey, when you're riding a horse and it's a first time on a surface that it's never run on, what is your take on how he actually handled the track and the surface versus how he may have handled other surfaces?
Yeah, so it's a very difficult situation because I never worked him before in the mornings, and he's run on the turf, won on the turf, and he's ran on the poly as well. So this was his first time on the dirt, but he has been training on the dirt with his workouts, so he's had some experience on it, but just not in race day. But going off of Todd Pletcher's words, the only thing he really told me was he's never got dirt in his face. So to me, that means send. And I did the best I could, but I worked with what I had, and I had a great duel in front of me, and I taught him a little bit to sit behind some horses, and he got a little dirt in his face, so I was able to teach him a little bit, and then he was able to respond well. So I'm hoping that he can run just like he did before.
Well, now let's talk about the special filly, Lara, that you won the Suncoast with, and I was sitting there interviewing you and Mark in the winner's circle at Tampa, and Mark goes, "Yeah, our target's the first Friday in May. What's the next race target, if you know? And tell us about how excited you are to get back on this filly."
Very excited. She's actually running this Saturday in the Honeybee. He wheeled her back pretty quick because the way things are going, setting her up for a race at Keeneland and then possibly the Kentucky Oaks if everything goes well, to give her enough time between then and then. So this one's a little bit quick back, 3 weeks. She's very classy filly. I was actually working her. I worked her twice before the Suncoast at Tampa, and I worked her from the gate and I worked her from the pole, and she's very nice to work with. She's a real sweetheart, and she does whatever you want her to do. That day at the Suncoast at Tampa, Mark gave me free rein. We saw a lot of speed in there, but we didn't want to take anything away from Lara. If she were to break well, we would go with it. If not, then we'd sit a nice trip and hope for another run later down the stretch. But she had her mindset. She broke sharp. She wanted to take dominance into the first turn, and I didn't want to get in her way at all. She wanted to be in control. I let her do her thing, and when I asked upon her at the quarter pole, she really exploded. I didn't hear no contenders behind me. I took a peek back at the 8th hole, and they were nowhere to be found. So just took care of her through the wire and patted her on the shoulder and gave congrats to her. She was definitely deserved it, and she's in top form. So I'm really excited for her to run.
Well, I know Mark is as well, because Mark said, you saw the real Lara today. She may have had a little bit of a setback in a race before, but yeah, we're ready. This horse is ready, and we're going to get her ready. So to me, that maybe almost thinks that she was only maybe 85% for the Suncoast. And if that's the case, look out, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if she was 85%, then she's definitely going to put on a show this week.
So, I mean, the story really is how cool it is to have the two of you on, upward trends in your careers. I mean, when you guys are like in the jockey room and you don't have a race, but the other has a race, do you sit there and watch that race and like just sit on edge and really root hard for each other that way? I mean, it's got to be a cool thing, right?
Yeah, of course. We work together well. I always want to see Katie do good, and whether it's criticism, but it's always positive criticism. Always want to see her do well. And I don't get too involved, but I do try to pick my times on when I say things so she doesn't get overwhelmed with all the stuff that I say to her. But, whether it's working on the track, her riding style, or certain situations, or even handling her business in certain ways, I try to tend on, the way I handle things, and maybe it'll work in her favor as well.
Now, Katie, do you ask him for that, or does he just like all of a sudden jump in and tell you?
Both. Yeah. Sometimes I ask him, I'm like, well, what'd you think of this ride? And he's like, well, Katie, maybe if you just sat a couple seconds, maybe you could have done this. But, you made a good move, but it would have worked out better this way. So it's nice. It's nice to have, riding with Dylan as well and watching him grow and, giving us positive feedback and positive energy. And like when each other are down, it's like, it's okay. Don't worry, tomorrow's another day. Don't drag it on to the next day and stuff. So yeah, we have a great relationship that way. There was one thing I wanted to bring up is when we were coming down the stretch, this was pretty funny. My filly kind of drifted on Dylan, and I heard him scream, and remember that?
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But my filly hated the stick, so every time I hit her, her tail would go like this. And she normally wears a full cup blinker. She had a half cup, and I was almost winning the race. And I'm like, no. And I hear Dylan, and I had to straighten up, and Dylan go flying past me, got me a neck, not even. And we're galloping out together. He looks over, he goes, if you won that race, you would have been taken down. And I smiled. And I go, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then I had the stewards call, if you won that race, you would have been taken down. I said, Dylan already told me after the wire.
Oh, the stewards called you? Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't, I think that's our upbringing too. Like our parents taught us, we're so close that like, even if you say something rude or mean or, it's only in our best,
the heat of the competition.
Yeah. And life in general too. And, and 2 hours later, if we're mad, we're over it.
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, we got a great relationship, you know, in our family. So, you know, it works competition wise too, luckily. You know, we're competitive when it comes down to that wire. Like, I just did a podcast early this morning and they were like, who do you like coming down to the wire with? I go, I love it with Dylan. When I know I'm sitting behind him and I know I'm gonna go head and head with Dylan, I'm like, he's the one I want to beat. Because you're strong. You're
Yeah.
strong. And
Yeah.
you know, it gives, you know, since we were younger.
Feels
we
good.
always-
Feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good.
I mean, before we go too long on this, how was it growing up? How did you both get into riding horses? Can you both talk a little bit about your first time or when you found out that this was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I said earlier too. I said, you know, our father kept us away from racing as much as possible. You know, he kind of didn't like come home talk about it. You know, it was all family, and the only thing really that was like kind of a dead giveaway was, you know, there was always one TV that had racing on. So if the racing wasn't on, it was weird. It was just not normal. So I think that just playing in the background got us, you know, in our mind of, well, maybe this is something we want to do. Our dad really kept us away from it. Yeah, he just, you know, because it's a tough industry. And I think when we moved to Saratoga and I was in 6th grade, I had a neighbor that owned horses. And that's when I fell in love. And, you know, I used to show horses and I didn't care for it. I had an ex racehorse that was like 18 and she hated showing horses. And, you know, she was just a fun ride. And we'd like to gallop long and stuff. And my dad's like, I looked at my dad, I'm like, I want to ride. And he's like, great, my little girl. No, no. And I think I was the first one. I could say I kind of was the first one that knew, but I was the last one to ride because I bolted. But
I think
yeah.
Eddie was first.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, that is right. Eddie was
Yeah.
first. That
Yeah.
was.
Now, forgive me for the ignorance of not remembering the name, but that like little exercise horse that maybe your dad could have had in the garage, but it's in every jockey room and stuff like that. Did he have one? And would you guys just like sneak and jump on it and pretend you're riding the horse in a race and stuff?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
That's right, Eddie did.
so Dylan, leave me with one last good, you know, well, you've got two potentially super horses that you got coming up, and you know Kenny McPeak just won the Oaks and the Derby. Maybe this year for you, huh? What do you think?
I would hope so. I really do. You know, I probably would have never been in this position if I never come to Gulfstream, to be honest with you. I was leading rider multiple times at Aqueduct and I just never got the chance. But just really happy with the way things are going and always done my best out.
You got more Cassie with you now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was really one of the main reasons why I come down. He offered for me to ride for him, mostly first call, and you know, he really jumped on me. And I had a lot of trainers that have a lot of trust and respect for me, and to do my best out there for them. And it wasn't only just Mark; it was plenty of trainers there and owners there still continue to ride me throughout since Saratoga and my previous years. But that was ultimately the goal, was to just actually be in the Oaks and the Derby, to be honest. And I don't even think about winning it. I'm definitely, once I get there, I'll think about winning it. But first things first is just getting there.
Well, look, good luck to both of y'all this weekend. You both got rides in some nice stakes races, and I've really enjoyed it. Been a lot of fun. I'm glad we finally got you guys on together, and just best of luck to you guys moving forward.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah,
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right.
Tracking trips have passed the wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish, Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. Well, I'll play them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at PastTheWire.com and check out the tracking trips page. Nobody does it better.
Cyberknife was a very talented horse from day one. Fast horse, able to carry it around 2 turns. Looks a tremendous amount like Gunrunner, same ability and talent. Holds the track record in the Haskell. He won it in impressive fashion, beating a very good group of horses.
His name is Cyberknife!
Excited about him passing on his durability, his soundness, and his talent. He could definitely be a breed-shaping stallion.
Welcome to Past the Wire TV, your #1 source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Past the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Louis Sayed to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard, oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Blood. That makes you related. Loyalty. That makes you family. Nobody does it better.